Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Today is Saturday, January 17th. January's half over already. I can't even believe it. We're solidly into 2026 already. Just by way of forewarning, forgive any background noise you hear. That's the dishwasher running. I just want to get a load of dishes done. We were really backed up. So anyway, for those of you that are new to my channel, welcome here. My name is Janice. I live and work in Manitoba, Canada. I work at a Canadian grocery store chain called Sobeys, and I do some of my grocery shopping there because of the Sobeys and Safeway are a Scene Plus sponsor, meaning you can earn and redeem Scene Plus points in stores. And I also have a small staff discount there. But I also do a lot of my shopping at Real Canadian Superstore for the PC Optimum Points program. The first part of my haul today is from Superstore, and I'd actually have to break it into three parts because there was some mix-ups. Normally I like to go in store and buy everything myself and choose everything. Once in a while I say, you know what, life is crazy, life is hectic, let's just do a grocery pickup order. And it's a $1 service fee. And usually when I do my grocery hauls, inevitably the few times I've done that, I end up complaining that they've done something wrong. And they almost did today. So by the time I got there and I called and I checked in, I said, we're in stall number 10 and there's some things I need to cancel off of my order. First of all, there's a couple things that they did not have. Most of the time, I don't like to allow substitutions because what I've heard is when you do Walmart pickup order, if they substitute, you don't get charged if the product they substitute costs more. At Superstore, they do. So usually I say no substitution on most items. A couple of things I will select an item to substitute for if I find something that's acceptable. One of the things in their flyer was a 3-pound bag, I want to say, of mandarin oranges, and I forget how much it was supposed to be, but it was out of stock, and I had not selected a substitution, so that did not happen. However, there were things on my order that I wanted to get. In the flyer, there was packages of frozen fish, like salmon, basa, sole, whatever, and they were like $6.50, limit of 4, I thought they were. But one of them was out of stock, which was fine, but the other 3 on my order, when they said your order's ready to pick up, they weren't charging me $6.50. They were charging me $8.99. And there was also an offer for points if you spent $4 on Colgate products like toothpaste. And so I'd ordered 5 because on the app they said they were 88 cents. But when the order was complete on the bill, it said they were 99 cents. And I said, no, we're not doing that. Cancel those. And then there was one other item, the dishwasher tabs. There was some dishwasher tabs. I still have to put those on the counter. Speaking of which, I didn't do that yet. I'm going to have to put those up. They were, trying to remember what they were. They were charging me $25.99 for a 92 count or something like that. And in the flyer, I think there was one that was $24.99 for like 112 count. So I'm going to have to grab that and put that on the counter because I missed that when I was laying everything out. So I said, okay, you're going to have to cancel the Cascade, cancel the Colgate, and cancel the fish. And so I ended up going in-store, and when I went in to look at the Colgate, they didn't have enough for me to make $4 worth of the 89 cents ones, or 88 cents ones rather. They didn't have enough, so I just skipped that for now. I'll go back later in the week if I happen to be in the neighborhood and see if they have 4 or 5 tubes of that size that were on sale and buy them then. We'll see. And I ended up buying the fish, and actually the signage in the store said limit of 2. So after this clip, you'll see another clip where I did 2 transactions to buy 4 bags of fish because I had to do 2 and then another transaction of 2. So that will be after this. And actually that is the one that I bought the dishwasher tabs on. I bought those after as well. That's why they're not on the counter. I realize now as I'm talking out loud that that's why. It's not a brain cramp on my part here that I forgot to put them out. It's just that that's going to be in a different segment. So anyway, I'll show you what I did get. All right, so starting over here, I had a cumulative points offer for 1,000 points if you spent $10 or more on pickles or pickled type products. So I did that. I earned 1,000 points. I bought 3 jars of these no name brand olives. Again, the store brand is the yellow packaging with the black bar that says no name. Those were $2.29 a piece. They used to be $2 a piece, so they have gone up, but I bought 3 at $2.29. And 1 jar of the dill pickle chips, that was $3.29 for that. And then here, 2 jars of the sweet red peppers. This is President's Choice. The PC on the label there is President's Choice. That's also store brand. Those I use in when I make chili. So those were $3.99 each. So those were the items that counted towards the $10 of pickled items. And then I had an offer for points on tuna, like 100 points for $2 spent. on the tuna, no name brand tuna, and I'm trying to see where did I put that. That was, where is it on the receipt? It's like right in the same area here. I think they were on sale for $1.29 each. Yeah, they're $1.29. I just got 2. I have a few downstairs already, but I wanted to add those to the pantry. And my bread machine yeast, with what I have in the fridge, is beyond its best by date, like well beyond. So I decided I better get another jar of yeast. That was $5.99. And then no name brand chips. We got some potato chips. These are $1.57 each. I got 2 cheddar bacon, 2 barbecue, 1 regular, and 1 ketchup. $1.57 a piece. No points on those. And then I got a raspberry yogurt. I'm not a big yogurt person, but I do like to make the occasional smoothie, and I use it in that. And I like anything raspberry. That's my favorite. So that was $3.99. Cottage cheese. This is a larger container. This is enough to make 2 pans of lasagna, so I'm going to keep that in the fridge. So if I need to make one for us and one for a meal train for anybody at church, because quite often that does come up where we get asked to make meals for families that have lost a loved one or that are new parents. So I can make one for us and one for them. This is good till February 12th. And I know for a fact there's a baby that is due in our church in the next week or 2 sometime. So I would imagine that a meal train will be coming up shortly. And it's only January 17th right now. February 12th is a due date on, or expiry date on this. So I would think that that baby will be here momentarily in the next week or 2 or 3 max. And probably right away then a meal train will be started. And then some snacky items here. I grabbed the 3 boxes of pizza pops. Oh, did I say what the cottage cheese cost? It was $6.99. The 4 liters of 1% milk were $5.83. Pizza pops were $2.99, limit of 4. I just grabbed 3 of these. It's just for a quick lunch. If I don't have anything else on hand, I just want to grab quick lunch before I go to work, or maybe even take one to work sometime. I can do that. And then some mushrooms, $3.50. I grabbed these. I like to sometimes make a sheet pan meal where I cut up some potatoes and farmer's sausage and mushrooms and just cook them in a glass Pyrex pan in the oven. Just toss them in a little bit of oil and some seasoning, and it makes a really nice meal. 9x13 pan that makes a good size. So usually just some leftovers. Grabbed some mini cucumbers. These were $7. And Fuji apples. There was in the flyer 5-pound bag for $6.99. Bananas were $1.91. And 10-pound bag of russet potatoes were $6. Typically, I prefer red potatoes for most everything, but russet is okay, and it was what was on sale. And we were pretty much out. We only had a few mini potatoes in the house, no full-size potatoes. So I thought, okay, let's get some. And then here, the muffins were on sale for $5.50. Oh, pardon me, it's showing as $5.78 and then minus 28 on each one, so $5.50. I grabbed a Raisin Bran. That one is right there, and then a cranberry lemon. Those are some favorites in the house. And then here, as I was doing putting my order together, I realized I was ordering some sandwich meat, and which one was this now? This was these chicken breast ones were on sale. I noticed that most of the time, these ones here are $3.50. These 2 Ziggy packages are $3.50. Most of the time they are. But these 2 were on for $1.74. So I thought, great, let's grab 2. Now, the reason why is because of the date, January 21st. They're close to their best before date. It's January 17th right now. So $1.74 each. I'm just going to I grabbed 2. I'm going to put them right in the freezer. I take sandwiches to work a lot. I don't work now again until Monday the 19th. I could make a sandwich tomorrow, but who knows, maybe I'll have whatever for lunch tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. Forgive the dishes in the background. The dishwasher is running, and we've got more that have to go in after this. Anyway, so 2 packages of oven roasted chicken breasts at $1.74, which is a good deal. That's half the price of normal. That's because they're close to their best before date. The sub trio, this was a substitution. Usually I get one that is like half of this size for $7, but I selected this as a substitution. This is basically double the size, and it was $11. So what I'll probably do is take my scissors and cut this in half and freeze half of this. I like these for sandwiches as well. Bologna, smoked Black Forest ham, and salami. So that's another. I just like to have lots of sandwich meat on hand for sandwiches for work, or even just for at home. Like to be stocked up on these things. A lot of this will go in the freezer. And then my usual go-to is the cooked ham and the smoked turkey kielbasa sausage are $3.50 each. And then 1 deodorant was $4.29. And then the $1 service fee. And yeah, there was other items like the fish and the dishwasher tabs on my order that it frustrated me to no end to have to go into the store and buy those things, because the whole idea I mean, we're basically in like minus 30 degrees Celsius weather here, and it's been a long week of work. Yesterday I had a day off, and it was a day of doctor's appointments for me. I see a sports medicine doctor because I have one bad knee, and now apparently I have two, and so I'm getting cortisone injections. I'm on the wait list for knee replacement surgery. So yesterday was that doctor, and then running to the optometrist, and then running to the family doctor for a checkup, and it was just a busy, busy day, and it's cold and blustery, and tomorrow's going to be more of the same. So I thought, for $1 service fee, let's simplify my life. Let's splurge and spend the $1 and not have to worry. We can sit in the warmth of our car. But it's because I was checking the prices on things. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what they were trying to do, because I don't know if it's a mistake on my end, but even as I called them to check in and said, okay, take those items off, and I'm going back on the PC Express app and typing those same items in, and I wasn't wrong, because those items were coming up at the prices that I thought they should be. The Colgate was coming up as 88 cents. And, all those things that, the fish was coming up as the right price. It was coming up as a sale price. But they were trying to charge me, instead of $6.50, they were trying to charge me $8.99 per package. And being that I ended up going in the store and buying 4 packages, that's a difference of, well over $2 per package. So, between that and the difference in price on the Colgate and the difference in price on the dishwasher detergent, I would have been... the dishwasher detergent was only $1 difference. However, there was a larger amount of tabs in that package. So basically, I would have been out of pocket $10 more than is necessary by using the PC Express app this time. So I'm a little frustrated with that, but I'm also relieved I caught it. And maybe in future, I may just take a break from using them and just simply go in the store and do my shopping myself, because I trust my own eyes better than I do theirs. But it all worked out in the end. I will show you what I picked up when I went into the store the second time afterwards. But for now, this is how it broke down. This is what this order broke down to. I got the 1,000 points on the continuity spend on pickles and pickle items, 700 points on the no-name cottage cheese. That was on my offers. And over and above the continuity spend on the pickled items, there was a separate offer for the no-name brand olives. So basically, I got points on those twice, 700 points there and 200 points on the tuna. Total after tax was $126.85. So you can see I earned 2,600 points, so I'm now at 18,785 PC Optimum points, which is $18 in points. But as I've said before, you can only redeem in increments of $10. So if I wanted to use any right now, I could only redeem $10 in points. But again, as you know, if you've been following my channel, typically I don't redeem points until the Christmas season. So I'm starting over in January this year with almost 0 PC Optimum points, because I had $500 saved up in 2025 and used most of them during the Christmas season. So now I'm starting again, rebuilding. So I'm planning to not use those until 11 months from now, basically. So let me pause you here. I got to put these freezer items away, and then I'm going to lay out the other items I got at Superstore. And then after that, we stopped back at Sobeys to drop something off to my daughter who was at work, and I grabbed some sale items there. So I'll show you those as well. And then finally, at the very end of this, I'll probably show you some items I got yesterday when we were out and about, because in between my doctor's appointments, we did a whole bunch of running around, went to Petland, PetSmart, and I got parrot food and rabbit food and all that good stuff, but it required 2 or 3 different stops, because not every store I went to had the stuff I needed. So I'll show you that, but for now, let me pause you, put this freezer stuff away, and the next thing you're going to see is the other things I picked up at Superstore. So stay with me, I'll be right back. All right, so here's the rest of the Superstore items. On this receipt, I just simply bought the 2 packages of salmon. There was the 400-gram packages that are on sale, which in the salmon really isn't a lot. You're going to get more for your money buying the sole or the basa or the cod or whatever, but salmon is something my daughter just loves. So I grabbed 2 of those at $6.50 each. You can see that is $13 is what I spent there. No points earned. I'm still sitting at the same amount. Sorry for the see-through there. It's just I have 2 receipts stacked. So I got the 2 salmon on that bill for $13. And then here, sole and basa, or I hope I'm saying that right. I'm thinking it's basa, $6.50 each, so $13 again. And then here, this is the Cascade. Like I said, on what they were trying to sell me on the app was a 90 count for $25.99, and when I looked in the flyer, the digital flyer online, because Superstore hasn't had a paper flyer in years, but in Canada you also have what's called an app called Flip, which is FLIPP, and you can go on there and just type in Cascade and it'll tell you everywhere it's on sale. But usually I just go on that app and I look up Sobeys and I look up Shoppers Drug Mart and I look up Real Canadian Superstore, and I just see what the sales each week are on. Sobeys and Safeway and Shoppers, they still have paper flyers. However, we haven't had a flyer delivery person in our neighborhood in probably well over a year, so we don't even get flyers anymore. But because I work at Sobeys, I can nab a copy of the flyer, or there's usually one on the lunchroom table. However, like I said, I just quickly looked up the Superstore flyer digitally and saw that this one was $24.99, so $1 cheaper, and more tablets, 112 instead of 90, or was it 90 or 95 I said. But either way, it was only 90 or 90 something for $25.99, and this is $1 cheaper and 20 more tablets, or 20-ish more tablets. So $24.99 for that. So you can see here on this bill, I spent $40.99, and again, no points earned, so still at the same amount. So I spent $40.99 there, $13 for these, and $126.85. So basically $126.85 plus 13, so $139.85. And $40.99, so $126.85, that's 13, so yeah, $139.85 and $40.99. So even just with 40, $179.85 and then another 99 cents. Yeah, so basically around $180 I spent at Superstore today. I'm just trying to do the mental math here. So about $180 is what I spent at Superstore, and all told I earned, what did I say I earned? Just over 2,000 points, I believe. So yeah, it was like 2,600 points that I earned today at Superstore. Okay, so next up is going to be what I picked up at Sobeys. I need to get this fish into the freezer right away though, so just stay tuned, and next up I'll show you what I grabbed at Sobeys on my way home. Okay, so here is what I bought at Sobeys. Once we were done doing the grocery pickup at Superstore and then going back in the store to get items, we had to swing back over to Sobeys. My daughter was at work already, and she desperately needed us to pick up her prescription at the pharmacy because it wasn't ready before she started work, and the pharmacy closed at 6. So we got back to Sobeys about 5:15, grabbed her prescription for her, and then I decided let's grab some things that were on sale. I had already worked today from 10:30 until 3:30, but my husband picked me up, and he was sitting in the cold car waiting for me at 3:30, and I thought, you know, let's just go, and we'll go home and grab my daughter and drop her off at work, go to the Superstore run, and then we'll come back maybe at 8 o'clock when she's done work and pick things up. But we ended up doing it sooner because we had to run back and make sure she got her prescription before the pharmacy closed. So we ended up back there at about 5:15 and did that, and then I picked up the sale items that I wanted while we were there. So here is what I got. I got the Compliments brand bread. This is the Sobeys brand. You can see the C, that is the store brand. And they are $2.49, which honestly, oftentimes at Superstore, I buy the no-name brand white bread for my sandwiches. They used to be $1.97. They are also $2.49. However, sometimes they come up on my PC Optimum offers, and this week they are not. So I decided to get them at Sobeys because they're the same price, and as I said at the start of my video, I get a small staff discount of 10% off my first $150 spent every week. So $2.49, but then that's before my 10%. So technically, really, they're 25 cents off of each bag, or 24 cents off of each bag. So really, that makes them cheaper than at Superstore, and they're not on my offers at Superstore anyway. But here, there is a points offer, so not only are there $2.49 minus my staff discount, but there is an offer of 100 points if you bought two. Every 1,000 points is $10 in Scene Plus points, so every 1,000 points equates to $10. So even just getting this 100 points, that's $1 right there already on Scene points. And again, I get my staff discount, so even though they're both $2.49, the Compliments brand at Sobeys and $2.49 for no name at Superstore, my 10% staff discount gives me an edge because it's slightly cheaper, and I got points on them. And I also grabbed some mini carrots, and I noticed on the tag they were buy one, get one free. That made it even better. I am kind of, I don't know, I still love Superstore. I love their PC Optimum Points program. Not loving the pickup option so much these days, but I am struggling to love even just shopping there sometimes. There are some things that are cheaper than Sobeys. Sobeys is typically more expensive for everyday prices, but the staff discount really helps me. Plus, our sales are good. Our sales are comparable to anywhere else. And the last few times, though, that I've bought mini carrots at Superstore, they have been bad. They looked good, but within 2 weeks, they were literally going to liquid in the fridge. I mean, I get it. If they're going to sit in the fridge for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, yes, they're going to turn into a science experiment, but not when you've had them for less than a month. I had a bag twice the size I got from Superstore that we had to chuck out. It was less than a month old, and they were liquefied. So I thought, forget this. I'm going to buy them at Sobeys today, and they just so happened that they were buy one, get one free. $3.49, that's before my staff discount, but basically $1.75 because they're buy one, get one free. So win-win, right? And then snap peas, I got these at Sobeys as well today. More often than not, I do like to buy these or even a bigger bag at Superstore. But more often than not, they were on my, I was trying to add them to my shopping order today. Most of the time, they're out of stock. So I decided, let's just grab one at Sobeys today because I'm already there. $7.99 for those. Not the world's greatest price, but not bad. They're comparable to what they are at Superstore, I believe, for that size of bag. And again, I have 10% off. And my daughter's in my caffeine of choice. Coke or Pepsi products. This week I think it's just Coke products. I don't think the Pepsi products are part of the sale, but the Coke products are on sale and they're on for $4. Sometimes you can get them on a 2-day sale at Shoppers Drug Mart on the weekend for $3.99 or $3.49 if you're really lucky. But these are $4, which is about the same as the $3.99 sale that you might see at Shoppers. I don't even know if they're on sale at Shoppers this weekend. I just know they're on at my store. And again, that $4 is not including my 10% off. So that brings them each down to $3.60, which if you're getting them for $3.99 at Shoppers, this $3.60 beats that. So I grabbed 3 of the Diet Coke. I don't mind coffee, but typically my daughter and I like cold beverages more. She's more on a full strength pop kick, so I grabbed her a regular Coke Classic. I mean, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, Coke Classic, tons of sugar, not good for you. On the other hand, I'm drinking diet drinks that have aspartame, which is probably also not good for me. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And neither way, probably at some point I should probably just swear off of this and stick to like my fizzy water, my Compliment sparkling water I buy, or regular coffee or what have you. But for right now, this is one of my vices. So I grabbed 3 Diet Coke and 1 regular Coke for her, $4 each minus my 10% discount over above that. And then finally, SpongeBob, pardon me. I've got SpongeBob on the brain. I've got a 25-year-old daughter who's about to turn 26, and she still loves SpongeBob. And she's haranguing me to go to the SpongeBob movie. And lately, every day she comes home from work, she tries to get me to watch SpongeBob on YouTube. And sorry. Anyway, sponge towels, paper towels, they are on sale along with the Purex bathroom tissue, $11.99 each. 6 double rolls of sponge towels, paper towels for $11.99, and 24 double rolls of toilet paper for $11.99 as well. Oh boy, I'm still trying to recover from that SpongeBob screw up. Don't mind me. Anyway, so you can see on there the free carrots, and then I earned 100 points on the bread. I also earned 5 points in the produce department for buying the produce that I did. And let's see if we can focus here. My staff discount was $5.99. And my total was $55.54 after tax. Now, I do have $100 in Scene Plus points left. I could have used some of those and just paid $5.54. But as I said, I try to save up my points all year and not use them till Christmas. But as I also said in my last video, technically I could probably guilt-free redeem some points if I wanted to, because I didn't use all my points. I used all my PC Optima points, but I did have some Scene Plus points left over at the end of December. But I'm trying to not use. I used $20 the other day, and I'm trying to not use any more. I'm still sitting at $100 in Scene Plus points, and I'm just trying to keep going and build upon that and rebuild. So I earned 105 points, 100 points on the bread, 5 points in the produce department. And going into this, I had a balance of 10,131 Scene Plus points, which means I have $100 rather, in Scene Plus points available to me, and then the 105 points will take about 1 to 2 business days to hit my account, so probably by Monday. So then I'll be sitting at 10,236 Scene Plus points. So I'll still be sitting at the $100 mark, but that's okay. That is not bad. I'm fine with that, because usually I use up all my points in December, and I did not. Usually I'm starting from scratch. That's why on my PC Optimum points I'm sitting at less than $20, because I used them all. But I'm fortunate in that I didn't have to use all my Scene Plus points. So I've got $10 available to me at Superstore and $100 available to me at Sobeys if I should so need. But I'm going to try and hang on to them all year until December 2026, if I can. So next thing you're going to see is what I picked up yesterday at Petland, 2 different Petlands, and at PetSmart. This is a 3-paycheck month for us, so I'm trying to put a little bit extra on like our water bill, our electric bill, well, hydro bill is what we call it here, Manitoba Hydro. And I'm also trying to just do a little bit of a stock up on things, like whether it's groceries, but even like the pet food. We have birds. We have 9 birds. We have 1 budgie. We used to have 7 budgies, but most of them have passed on from old age. We have 1 budgie left, 2 cockatiels, 2 conures, a green cheek conure and a pearly conure. one Indian ringneck parrot, one Quaker parrot, one Senegal parrot, and an African gray parrot. I think that's all of them. Well, 2 cockatiels. I don't know if I mentioned cockatiels or not. So yeah, there's usually quite a bit of stuff that they need. You know, parrots don't do well, even small budgies don't do well on strictly a seed diet. They need more than that. And I also have a lionhead bunny downstairs in the basement too. So we needed to get certain things for them. And unfortunately, because we have multiple breeds of birds, they each need different varieties of food. And not every store that I went to yesterday had what I needed. So we had to make a few stops. But that'll be what I show you next. And then finally, I'll wrap up this video. So stay tuned for that if that interests you. Okay, and now we're on to the pet food stuff. For those of you that are interested in seeing this, I don't know how many of you are. Maybe some of you are pet owners or even parrot owners like me. I don't know. But I ended up stopping. We went to the first doctor out on one end of the city. And then normally he's really prompt. There was a medical emergency in the lobby yesterday, so that delayed him a little bit. But we still had a bit of time between that appointment and another appointment I had to get to. So we stopped at one of the Petlands because usually whenever I go in there, the bulk rabbit food that I buy, they're out of stock. And I thought, let's try there, and then we'll know. If I can get it there, then great. It's a one-stop shop. We don't need to go to any more Petlands. But sure enough, as usual, they were out. So I ended up, this was, I believe, this, okay, I kind of have these out of order here because this set here was from the second Petland. What we did was we bought a few things at that Petland, and then we continued on to an appointment I had, and then my doctor's appointment because we were cutting it a bit close, and somewhere in between there we stopped at the optometrist too. I had to get my glasses fixed. And then after the doctor's appointment, then we hit the second Petland, which this is from the second Petland. So I'm kind of doing this out of order, but that's fine. So this is from the second Petland. They luckily did have the bulk rabbit food in stock. So he's not he's a lionhead bunny. He's not a big guy. He's maybe about 5 pounds, if that. He's not big. And we always thought he was kind of a fussy eater, but actually a lot of it is because the vet told us when he examined him, he said, you know what, he's missing a couple teeth. So other bunnies that we've had, they've liked bananas and strawberries and carrots and stuff, and this guy doesn't. He eats his Timothy hay and he eats his rabbit pellets, and that is it. And I thought it was because he was fussy, but no, it's because he actually struggles to grip other foods. So his pellets are the mainstay of his diet, and of course Timothy hay. So we need to keep him stocked up on his food because that is the main part of his diet. It's unfortunate he can't seem to enjoy other people food, but it is what it is. As long as he's getting these things, this is the most important thing for him anyway. Now at Petland, there is something called Club Pet, and that does give you a little bit of a discount on your purchase. So because normally any Petlands we go to usually are running low or out of stock of rabbit food, instead of buying 1 bag, which should be my norm, I bought him the better part of 2 bags. Basically like 1 3/4 bags here, and then they just goes by weight. So with the Club Pet discount, I spent, that was, how much was it? 1 bag was $13.83 and 1 bag was $8.77. The spray millet is marked as being like $20. It's like $19.99, $19.97 or something like that. Club Pet discount was $1.95. So instead of being closer to $20, it was $17.52. And then these In-Tune Harmony, this food here, 2 of our parrots, I've talked before about how I buy what's called bubblegum pellets for a lot of our parrots. And they call them that, or they refer to them that. I mean, that's not the proper name, but they refer to them that because they have a strong kind of bubblegum type scent to them. And as I've said, I've never sampled one. I'm not a bird, so I can't tell you what they taste like. But all I know is most of our medium-sized parrots and our big African gray likes them, but my Indian ringneck and my Senegal are picky. Actually, my Indian ringneck's not picky. He's picky about bird food, but not about people food. He's a royal mooch when it comes to us eating people food, and he wants in on it. But he's fussy about his regular pellets, like as far as the bubblegum pellets, which is the main part of his diet. But we have found, and Bo, our Senegal parrot, is also a bit fussy about those. They both get the Supreme fruit pellets that we buy, but we have to find something else to go with it because fruit pellets alone are not enough for them. So we have found that this In-Tune Harmony works for them. They seem to not mind it, but it's not cheap. It's $33.48 a bag. But like I said, it's a 3-paycheck month, so I deliberately allocated around close to $300 just for a pet food stock up. Basically, which I don't normally do that. I usually just kind of buy a little bit ahead and try to stay a little ahead of the game. But because there's a little bit extra pay this month with a 3rd paycheck, I thought, let's do a stock up. Just like we do at the grocery store. You do a grocery store stock up. Sometimes you do that on pet stuff too, especially if you find a sale. And the Club Pet discount does help. So here is what I got. You can see if it'll ever focus, that is. Come on. There we go. So, come on. 17.52 on the millet. There's everything. And we'll just get down here to the total here. That purchase, this was the second stop we made. It was the second Petland we went to, was $82.43. Now, this was the first Petland we went to, and when we discovered that, as usual, unfortunately, it's kind of the norm for them, they were out of rabbit food. So I don't like having to make multiple stops, but thankfully all these appointments all over the city put us in proximity to multiple pet stores, so we were okay. This was our first stop. They were out of rabbit food, but I did get a large bag of the bubblegum pellets, which is what most of our medium-sized birds, and my African gray, my big bird. The only ones that don't eat this really are my 2 cockatiels and the budgie, the one lone budgie that we have left, the one lone 9-year-old geriatric budgie that we have left. They're the only ones that don't really eat these. The Quaker parrot, the Senegal, well, the Senegal, we try and give the Senegal and ringneck a little bit of these, but they don't like them that much. But the Quaker, the 2 conures, the African gray, that is a big part of their diet. There's these bubblegum pellets. So I grabbed a big bag of that for them to get them stocked up, because that's a big part. That's half of our flock right there that eat this. And that was $24.10 for that bag. And then I bought another package of the millet, $17.52. So this is, millet is basically a treat for them, but I'm restocking, just making sure that we have lots. I've got a box at the other Petland and one here, just really restocking. And then cockatiel seed, and again, seed is not supposed to be the mainstay of their diet. The cockatiels will also get fruit pellets along with. The cockatiel mix was $17.98, and at that Petland, which was our first stop, we spent $66.75. So you can see this was already turning out to be an expensive day, because at $66.75, and then the second Petland, $82.43, not cheap. But I did go to PetSmart, and I specifically went to PetSmart for some things because they do have a points program there. And I know that some items there, not everything, but some are cheaper than at Petland. And it just so happened that it was a case of, for the Supreme fruit pellets, they had a deal where it was a buy one, get the second bag at 25% off. And I knew from my receipt last time I was in there, I had $2 in points I could redeem. Now, the cashiers don't always offer that and say, would you like to redeem? Like when I'm cashing people at Sobeys and I'm putting customers through, oh, you have $10 in points to redeem. Do you want to use them? Or $100 in points or whatever. But I'm noticing at PetSmart, they don't always, depends on the cashier, but they don't always volunteer that. But I look at my receipt to see my balance, and I knew I had $2. So right off the hop, I said, here's my phone number. This is what the points are under. And I know I have some points to redeem. I'd like to apply those. It's only $2, but I was spending a good chunk of money between 3 pet stores. So they redeemed the $2 for me. And I just lucked into the fact that it was buy one, get one 25% off. So these are all Supreme fruit pellets, but they have them in different sizes. This one is for my African gray parrot. Obviously, there's an African gray on the bag, so I knew right away that's good for her. But again, that's not her mainstay. She gets the bubblegum pellets as well, and millet for a treat. And then the medium-sized one, yes, this has a picture of a cockatiel on there. It usually says on there what birds it's good for. This says like medium birds, cockatiels, lovebirds, conures, quakers. So, you know, we have 2 cockatiels, we have 2 conures, and we have a quaker. But I also give that to our Indian ringneck and our Senegal too. Technically, this big one says African gray and conures as well, and cockatoos, which are not the same as cockatiels, they're much larger. But typically, I just give the conures the medium-sized one. I don't know if their beaks are really big enough to handle those. So I bought 2 of these because this goes to our 2 cockatiels, 2 conures, Quaker, Indian ringneck, and Senegal. So that is the bulk of our flock. So I needed to get 2 of those to really make sure they were well stocked. And with one lone budgie, actually, more often than not, I often give this size to the cockatiels along with the budgie. That, because their beaks are not as big. It says that the cockatiels could handle this medium-sized one, but quite often, knowing I only have one budgie left, quite often I will give the cockatiels this small size along with the budgie, and then try and divvy this one up amongst the 2 conures, the Indian ringneck, the Senegal, and the Quaker, just because there's multiple of them. And I know the budgie, it's really hard to get budgies to eat anything other than seed, but we try. But I thought at least if we mix a bit of that in there, and, you know, with one budgie eating it, and if she doesn't eat a lot of it, it's not going to take forever. So I try to give the cockatiels more of this than the medium size. I just feel like they could probably handle this better than the medium. And we just have more birds eating off the medium too. So anyway, so here's the breakdown of what happened here. You can see there's buy one, get a discount on the second one, right? So there's my points redemption of $2. So I've got one that is 14.61. They always take the cheaper of the 2 bags, right, to have the discount on. So here's the one bag that was $19.49, and the other one up there was $19.99 minus $5. That's the 25% off. And we have one down here, the big one for Ruby, my African Great Parrot, was $29.24, and then the other one was $14.62. That was $19.99 minus $5 as well. So you can see there, $14.61 and $14.62. Those two should have each been $19.99, but with the 25% off, the 2 cheaper bags, the cheapest 2 bags of the bunch, they brought them down, one to $14.61 and one down to $14.62. So I had the 25% discount on those 2, plus my $2 points redemption. So you can see my points redemption there. And out of pocket, I am $87.32 at PetSmart. And then, where's my points down here? I think it says all the way down at the bottom. I redeemed the $2 in points. Oh, here it is. Here's the points activity. So I earned 779 points. I redeemed 1,000 points. So that tells me I redeemed $2 in points. That tells me that every 1,000 points is $2 at PetSmart. I always have to keep that straight because 1,000 Scene Plus points at Sobeys is $10. But at PetSmart, 1,000 points there is $2. That's what I redeemed, was $2 in points, which according to this is 1,000 points. So I earned 779. My closing balance is 1,669 points. And it says my redeemable value now is $2 again. So that means I'm currently sitting, after all that purchase yesterday at PetSmart, at between $10 and $20 worth of points. But again, you can only redeem, looks like the minimum you can do is $2. So technically, if I wanted to, I could probably go back in and buy another 2 bags of Supreme, get one full price and one 25% off, and redeem $2 off of it. But we'll just kind of have to see. I did earmark a good amount for pet food, but I spent $87.32 there, and I spent $66.75 at Petland. So say 67 and 87, that's 154. And I spent $82.43. So almost $240 in pet food. And I said I earmarked about $300 or so for pet supplies. Now, before I go crazy and go back there and buy 2 more Supremes in order to redeem $2 and get a discount, I need to check the rabbit supplies. Downstairs, what I usually do when it comes to his litter and his hay is I buy it at Superstore. It's cheaper, and if I ever have a continuity spend in general on groceries at Superstore, I'll buy it there and add that to my grocery bill, but I don't have one of those right now. But I'm going to check and see if he needs litter or hay, because if I do, I'll buy it at Superstore, as opposed to the pet stores. It's more expensive. So if I really want to buy anything more out of the money I allocated for pet food this month, I might do that. But if he's well stocked, then maybe I will go back to PetSmart this week and get 2 more bags while the sale is on. We shall see. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I've probably talked your ears off enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know it's a little longer again, but this whole segment here is totally optional if you want to watch stuff about pet food or not. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Maybe you found it informative. I hope you have. If you did enjoy it, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. I'm trying really hard to manage our grocery money and our pet supply buying money as best I can by shopping sales, utilizing the points programs at the different stores, and utilizing my staff discount at Sobeys. I'm trying to make our dollar stretch. Yes, there's stuff in there that's junk food like pop and pizza pops and potato chips, but there's also a lot of produce too. And even the muffins, yeah, okay, they're kind of a convenience. I usually bake my own, but I haven't been doing a lot. I baked a ton of stuff before Christmas, and now I'm just working like crazy trying to recover from Christmas, and I have to pace myself because I do have 2 bad knees, and by the time I'm done work at night, I don't always feel like coming home and baking. I usually throw a load of laundry in, and that's about it for the day. And my days off, sometimes I bake, but sometimes I just need a rest day. I have 2 bad knees, and I work 2 jobs on my feet. So, yes, I could bake my own muffins, but sometimes convenience wins out, and it just is what it is. I'm sure we all have our things that we do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and if you did, do leave a comment down below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you for those that have subscribed recently, and thank you for those that have stuck with me from the very beginning. Make sure you do subscribe and leave a comment down below, and make sure your notification bell is turned on. I don't have a set posting schedule, so if your notification bell is turned on, you'll be the first to know when I do finally upload something. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's a cold one here in Manitoba. Hopefully you're not freezing wherever you are as much as we are here. See you next time. Have a great week.